Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Tom Joyce, your city manager. Welcome to your City Hall. Thank you for joining us in this beautiful space. Thank you for joining us online. Thank you for being engaged in your city, the city of Minot. Building excellence with our community. That is the vision for the city of Minot. That is best done when we are all here together like we are today, here in person, here online, working together. Again, thank you all for being here. Mayor Mark Jantzer will deliver this year's State of the City address. But before we begin, if I could please ask everyone to rise as we begin with gratitude with Tim Olson singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Tim, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce our city mayor, Mayor Mark Jantzer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today as we reflect on a year behind us and focus on the challenges ahead. Serving first as a member of the Minot City Council and now as your mayor is a privilege I don't take lightly. Minot is my home, and I'm proud to play a role in guiding this great city into a future filled with potential and achievement. Our community has weathered many challenges, including natural disasters and economic booms and busts. More than a century ago, settlers populated this area. The foundation of our state and our community is built upon the broad shoulders of the agriculture industry. As Minot has grown from a small town to a regional hub city, we have maintained strong ties to agriculture, and the industry continues to have an enormous effect on our city and our residents. Pioneers and today's farmers have much in common. They still can't control much of what makes their operations succeed or fail. They can't control the weather. They can't control prices. They battle weeds and diseases. A farmer can do everything right and still have a bad year because of one storm. A good year is never a sure thing until the crop is in the bin and sold to the elevator. As a municipal government and as a community, we can learn from those who embrace our state's treasured tradition of working the land. As early settlers did, and today's farmers continue to do, we control only our own decisions, and we live with the consequences of those choices. But in the end, whether it's after a successful year or a bad crop, we press forward with faith. There is hard work ahead of us, but we've always faced adversity head on, and we faced it together because a common commitment to ourselves, our residents, and our community is what we have, and we're working without a crystal ball. As a city council, we fully recognize the trust our neighbors have placed in us. We've all received support from community members, and we've also been criticized. We know that's part of being elected officials, yet we remain committed to our duties. To my colleagues on the City Council, I appreciate your willingness to sacrifice time with your families and spend time away from your personal lives to serve our community. As we move forward, I hope we all remember that we were elected to make decisions for the greater good of all residents of Minot, whether they supported us at the ballot box or not. I appreciate everyone's passion and concern as we navigate difficult decisions that we are called upon to make. I'd like to remind us of something that President Woodrow Wilson said. There is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good is the greatest creed. While it's healthy to have honest, civil, and respectful debates and disagreements, my hope is that when final decisions are made and issues are settled through our actions, we can all grab the collective rope and pull in the same direction for the betterment of the entire community. We were elected to lead, and we have a responsibility to continue to fulfill the duties we pledged ourselves to when we were sworn in. We can accomplish our goals, but only if we are truly committed to working together. Fortunately, we aren't in this alone. To our community partners, thank you for working to make Minot's future bright. Our relationships with Minot State University, Minot Air Force Base, Minot Public Schools, Ward County, and the Minot Park District, Trinity Health, Minot Area Chamber EDC, and a long list of charitable and private organizations are critical to Minot's overall success. While we all provide different services to the community, we share a common goal: to make Minot the best city possible through meaningful collaboration and deliberate cooperation. To the city employees who helped make this year's State of the City a reality, I want to thank you for your time and patience, especially our Public Information Office team of Jennifer Kleen, Brian Obenchain, and Teek Vigney. And to all city employees, thank you for another outstanding year of service. We said happy retirement to a couple of department heads recently: Property Maintenance Superintendent Kevin Sickler and Water Plant Superintendent Mark Paddock. And there will certainly be more retirements in the future. To them and all our employees, we say thank you for years of commitment and dedication. You make a positive difference, and your efforts are noticed and greatly appreciated. I also want to say a quick happy birthday to our Minot International Airport, celebrating 10 years in service. It seems like only yesterday that facility opened brand new. As I fly fairly often, I'm constantly reminded by fellow travelers from other places how much they enjoy and are impressed by our airport facilities. Thank you to Airport Director Jennifer Ekman and her staff, who keep the airport looking great and running smoothly. To our friends at Minot Air Force Base, we are amazed by an almost $1 billion economic impact the base has had on North Dakota in 2025. But we're equally grateful for the cultural and social impact that the base personnel provide in our community. The country and the world know Minot Air Force Base as a vital strategic military installation with significant impact across the globe, and we're seeing that today. But we here in Minot also know Minot Air Force Base and its personnel as reliable community partners who impact the everyday life of Minot through volunteer efforts, career opportunities, and cultural contributions that make Minot a more welcoming city. Thank you. To Governor Kelly Armstrong and the members of the North Dakota Legislature, thank you for your support of projects and issues that carry great significance for our residents. Notably, the Mouse River Enhanced Flood Protection Plan and the Northwest Area Water Supply Project. With your assistance, we are making steady progress on the largest infrastructure projects in Minot's history. To our friends and partners in Washington, D.C., Senator John Hoeven, Senator Kevin Kramer, and Representative Julie Fedorchuk, your support in Congress helps us advance projects to protect and assist our residents and many others in the Souris River Basin, including the ongoing flood protection project. We thank you. Minot's greatest strength has always been our people. Through economic downturns and natural disasters, our folks have always lifted each other up and stayed focused on the future. Through our history, we've been battered by economics and by Mother Nature. We've been challenged and stressed by our city's fast-moving physical changes and population spikes brought on by the energy industry and other factors. We've faced internal organizational struggles that required leadership changes and a renewed commitment to the people we serve. But no matter the challenge, no matter the adversity, and no matter what was needed to recover, rebuild, and re-engage, Minot residents have always stood shoulder to shoulder with their neighbors, and often with complete strangers, to reaffirm their commitment to this community and to each other. That's why I believe our community, despite a historical roller coaster ride of challenges and successes, remains on the right track. And the data agrees. In our most recent community survey, nearly 60% of our residents who took the statistically valid survey agreed that Minot is headed in the right direction. The survey, taken in 2025, also revealed many other positives about our community. A majority of residents described Minot as a friendly city that cares about its people and remains a great community to raise a family. Results also showed that the majority of those who responded shared positive opinions on city services and city employees and enjoyed the small-town atmosphere of Minot, including feeling safe and viewed our city as having an overall low crime rate. In addition, 59% of those who answered were positive about referring a friend to live here in Minot. Certainly, we know there is much work to do in improving all aspects of our community, but it's refreshing that so many residents expressed what we already knew, that Minot is a great place to live, work, play, and stay. At the City of Minot, the work gets done by our city employees, who routinely go above and beyond the call to provide services to our citizens. In 2025, our organization made positive changes to ensure the future of the city remains bright. I noted that the top story of 2025, as identified by the Minot Daily News, was the major changes at the city. Good choice. We filled some critical positions in 2025, and I believe these new leaders further strengthen our outlook for the future. Tom Joyce became city manager in the fall of 2025 with unanimous support from the council, and for good reason. I appreciate Tom's enthusiasm and positive attitude as we navigate another difficult budget process and welcome his leadership in supporting and recognizing all City of Minot employees and the good work that they do.
How we doing?
Michael Fry joined us as our new police chief, and we promoted Dale Plessis to fill the newly created position of deputy police chief. These changes have helped provide stability and positive leadership to our police department at a time when it was critical to make changes. Under their guidance and with a renewed focus on officer recruitment and retention, we've greatly reduced the vacancies in the department to maintain a higher level of public safety in our community and create a better working environment for everyone in the department. We added Jody Erickson to help lead our CDBG entitlement funds. We welcome her experience and familiarity with the complexities of federal funding, as she oversees the distribution of HUD CDBG federal funding, $315,990 in this fiscal year, to support projects aimed at improving housing, increasing economic opportunities, and infrastructure for primarily low to moderate income residents. Kelly Beck joined us in 2025 as head of our Human Resources Department. Her experience and willingness to jump right into complicated recruitment challenges and other issues has helped expand HR's leadership role within our organization. We welcomed many other new employees and made other organizational changes in 2025, whether at the department head level, the entry level, and everywhere in between. We're grateful for the experience, knowledge, and commitment our employees bring to work every day, whether they're fixing a water main break in frigid conditions, responding to a medical assist or fire call, spending 12 hours in a blade clearing snow from our streets, working endless hours preparing for another financial audit, upgrading one of our many computer systems, or patrolling the streets of our community 24 hours a day. We're proud of our employees and their ongoing commitment to serving our community. Theodore Roosevelt said, "The only man who makes no mistake is the man who does nothing." As elected leaders, as a municipal government, we do not have the luxury of doing nothing. That is totally true during the budget process. Difficult and uncomfortable budget decisions for 2026 had to be made to help secure not only our organization's immediate future, but our long-term goals and our ongoing commitments. We accepted and embraced those challenges and tasked our department heads and other employees with creating budgets that reflected realities we were facing. As usual, they responded with hard work, a stream of solid data, and a creative vision for the future of their departments that prioritized needs versus wants. We're facing those same challenges today as we work on the 27 budget. We recognize that realistic fiscal responsibility is one of the core elements of our service as elected leaders. But we also recognize that every budget includes the challenge of balancing short-term needs against long-term necessities. It is our responsibility to make decisions we believe are in the best interests of our entire community, and we must be accountable for the decisions we make as a city council. It's only April, but from our first 3 budget meetings, we're all aware that this budget will be an important challenge. Once again, we'll be tasked with ensuring that as an organization, we're providing for the general welfare and common good of the residents of our community in a fiscally responsible manner. How do we best accomplish this goal? Different views on priorities will need to be resolved. It's about balancing necessities, needs, and resources. Those discussions won't be easy, and they won't always be unanimous. As elected officials, we all have differing points of view on how to best accomplish our budget goals, and that's a good thing. Civil, responsible discussion and disagreement is a healthy part of the budget process, provided we all keep the same overall goals in mind. As a council, we're faced with competing priorities in everything that we do. Sorting out those priorities isn't easy, and we know that no one in Minot will agree with everything we do. But we are part of a democracy, and while we're always willing to listen to both sides of an issue, we know that the majority makes the ultimate decision. We must recognize that we are in a historically unique position with our 2 major infrastructure projects limiting how much discretionary flexibility is available. We must be honest with ourselves. There's no immediate relief in sight from the costs associated with our 2 big projects, the Northwest Area Water Supply Project or the Mouse River Enhanced Flood Protection Plan. Even when the projects are complete, there will be ongoing maintenance costs. Completion of flood control is at least a decade or more away. We cannot abandon these projects. As a regional hub with these projects and others, Minot bears responsibilities that no other town in our area carries. We accept that responsibility because we know what's good for other communities in the Souris River Basin is also good for Minot. Crafting responsible budgets, solving a variety of issues that arise, and simply conducting the city's everyday business at council meetings too often creates negative attention from some community members. But we must not forget the positive things happening in Minot. There's reason to hope that the future will include additional financial benefit from growth. There are multiple things on the horizon for our community that will provide unique growth opportunities. For example, by now most of us have heard of the United States Air Force's Sentinel project, which will replace the current aging Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile system out at Minot Air Force Base. The Sentinel project will extend the missile system's capabilities through 2075. The project will construct or modify facilities and infrastructure necessary to support the Sentinel system's maintenance, storage, training, and testing at the 4 bases around the country, including Minot Air Force Base. This project could bring up to 2,500 to 3,000 job opportunities to the Minot area during peak construction periods, which could last anywhere from 3 to 5 years. To assist in preparations for the Sentinel project, in partnership with Minot Chamber EDC, the city accepted a military installation readiness grant of more than $500,000 from the Office of the Secretary of Defense. The grant will focus on conducting a compatible land use study as well as coordinating with other communities to promote installation readiness. North American Iron has announced plans to build a 700-acre pig iron plant in our industrial park, with construction to commence in 2027 and operational by 2029. The company plans to ship up to 5 million tons of iron ore to Minot yearly, which will be used to make 2 million tons of pig iron a year. This exciting venture is expected to bring 650 jobs to North Dakota and to the Minot area in particular. And North American Iron officials have said they expect up to 250 rail cars per day in Minot, bringing iron ore in and taking pig iron out for about 8 months of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to all of the people who persisted to get this project across the finish line. The Broadway Circle Family Homeless Shelter recently opened after years of perseverance, determination, setbacks, and finally successful completion. When Minot was awarded $74.3 million from Housing and Urban Development in 2016, one of the most important aspects of our application was a plan to create our community's first family homeless shelter. Through the years, there have been successes and setbacks with this project. As a council, we've been criticized by some for providing the final portion of funding to get this project across the finish line. But I would remind you that had this project failed in its late stages, we would have been responsible for repaying HUD millions of dollars, and we wouldn't have the shelter that our community needs. Today, through a partnership with Pathfinder Services of North Dakota, the facility is open and is actively serving our community, an accomplishment that required consistency and tenacity from the City of Minot and a host of partners. While these projects and others provide opportunities for growth, some will present challenges for our community as well, including housing, childcare, workforce, and infrastructure requirements. I'm confident the appropriate groups in our community can work together to solve any of these challenges that come our way. One of the big questions for us is this: what is the City of Minot's role in childcare challenges, the housing concerns, or the workforce shortages that our community is facing? Should the city have a role in these issues, or are they best left to others? Each situation must be judged as to risk and reward to reach those answers. Successful projects of this scale require determination and tenacity from everyone involved. The Port of North Dakota and the Family Shelter are two projects that wouldn't exist in our community today if people had given up when there were setbacks. But we aren't that kind of people, and we don't give up easily. Instead, local leaders had a vision for these projects and refused to take no for an answer. To me, these challenges are reminiscent of those in our state's ag industry. Sure, it might have hailed last year, but we're planting another crop this year. As a community, we press forward with faith. These projects and others are opportunities to help secure a better future for not only Minot, but for other communities in our area. The positives from these projects far outweigh any challenges, and I fully expect cities, the public, and private organizations in the area to collaborate on meeting the needs to ensure success. We'll also, no doubt, rely heavily on our elected leaders, locally, at the state level, and in Washington, D.C., for assistance and guidance. But much of the heavy lifting needed to make these projects successful will happen right here in Minot. When our community pulls together for any purpose, we can accomplish whatever we set out to do. That mindset carries over into everything we do as a city, including ensuring that we're addressing the basic infrastructure needs of our city. We've made good progress on upgrading much key infrastructure, but our city's needs continue to grow. That won't stop anytime soon. There are miles of road in need of repair or replacement. Each year there are areas of town where new sewer lines are scheduled to be installed. There are neighborhoods where aging water mains need to be replaced. Federally mandated lead service line replacement is on the horizon. All of these projects require two important things: time and money. And we never seem to have enough of either. 2025 was one of our busiest construction seasons in recent memory. It was complicated by an unexpected repair project on the 3rd Street Northeast Bridge and a Department of Transportation project on South Broadway. But even before these surprises, 2025 would have been a busy year, with the city expending some $11 million for a variety of road projects. But the Puppy Dog Coulee Stormwater project near Dakota Square Mall and the reconstruction of a stretch of 16th Street Southwest were years in the making and were also completed in 2025. The results of the 2025 projects, large and small, provided critical updates to aging infrastructure around Minot. We know we have more work to do to upgrade and improve basic infrastructure. 2026 should be slightly less stressful on drivers, with about $10 million budgeted for the city engineering program. We'll have slightly fewer road sealing projects and a few larger road reconstruction projects. There will also be several projects managed by our Public Works Department to install new water and sewer lines in various locations around the city. But even with less money allocated for this infrastructure, 2026 will still be busy. Our construction season is short, and there's always much work to be done. Rest assured, orange cone season will soon be upon us. What does the future look like for our two major ongoing projects? Both the NAWS water supply project and the Mouse River Enhanced Flood Protection Plan are on their way to eventual completion. Is 2026 the year we finally see Lake Sakakawea water flowing into the Minot Water Treatment Plant? All signs point to the first drops of lake water coming into our treatment plant sometime late this year, an occurrence that everyone in Minot and other NAWS communities have been anticipating for decades. While we know actual completion is more than a decade away, flood control is making steady progress, with various stages of work happening on multiple phases. Work on Phase 6 began in earnest in 2025, with construction stretching from 4th Street Northeast to 8th Street Northeast, along Central Avenue East, and through Roosevelt Park, where it ultimately connects with Phase 7. Concrete flood walls, earthen levees, utility improvements, and stormwater management systems and structures are all included in this complicated phase. The Roosevelt Park Zoo and Roosevelt Pool have been greatly impacted by these phases of the project, with former components of the zoo that were located across the walking bridge set to be relocated into a section of Roosevelt Park. Work on Phase 7 is expected to continue through 2026 with an anticipated completion by the fall of 2027. Design work on upcoming phases is ongoing, including the Maple Street Diversion Project, with actual construction expected to begin on multiple phases in 2026, 27, and beyond. These two infrastructure projects are vital to Minot and to Northwest North Dakota. They have required much heavy lifting from our residents, our local elected leaders, and our state and federal partners. But the progress is visible in our community and beyond, and we are committed to completing these generational projects that will position Minot as a safer and more welcoming city well into the future. As elected leaders, we face many of the same challenges as those who came before us, and new challenges they could never have imagined. And like our predecessors, we must make difficult decisions about our present and, more importantly, decisions that will impact future generations of Minot residents. Abraham Lincoln said, "I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him." We've all chosen to live in this great community. Those of us who are elected officials knowingly and willingly became public servants. There are challenges that come with that decision, but there are so many more rewards, and that is my focus as I press forward with faith. I sincerely hope we are all striving to ensure that our community is proud of us on a personal level, but also proud of us as elected leaders. Today is an opportunity to remember that we are benefiting from the collective sacrifices and dedication of Minot's former elected officials and residents. Today, we must remember that future generations are depending on us for that same level of sacrifice and dedication. As individuals and as a council, we commit to investing in Minot's future, and we are content knowing that our children and grandchildren will be the ones reaping many of the benefits. Many of us were elected to be leaders of Minot, but there are countless others doing great work behind the scenes, often leading in their own quiet way. The effects of these commitments cannot be understated. Those leaders are just as important to Minot's past and future successes as any elected officials. They are voluntarily making personal commitments as everyday residents who willingly share their time, talents, and treasures with their community. Those commitments help Minot's push for progress. They help Minot generate growth, and those commitments help Minot forge its future. Today, I ask you all to join me in making a commitment in our personal lives, in our professional endeavors, and in our roles as community leaders. We will work together with each other as individuals and with our community partners for the greater good of Minot. This pledge is as straightforward and yet complicated. It is significant. I believe it is necessary now, more than ever, to ensure the continued success of our community. Minot's a great city, and I'm proud to serve as your mayor. I'm committed to working with my fellow council members, our city employees, our residents, and our community partners to create an even better Minot for our future generations. I want to thank you for joining us here today. God bless our city. God bless our residents. God bless those who put their lives on the line every day to protect all of us. And let's go forward and have a great day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now we get to do something very pleasurable. Today I'm proud to announce the winner of this year's Good Neighbor Award. We asked Minot for nominations, and our community responded with 10 people, all of whom are very deserving of this award. If you watch the screens, you'll see the details of the folks that were nominated. All of these nominees personify what it means to be a good neighbor, a good community member. They are selfless. They are community driven. They are motivated by asking themselves, what can I do to make Minot a better place to live? Congratulations to all the nominees. You've been chosen by someone in the community who believes strongly that you embody what a good neighbor should be. And I couldn't agree more. I would be more than happy to present this award to any one of you. I want to thank our selection committee. I had nothing to do with picking the winner. The selection committee had the unenviable task of choosing the winner, and those people were John McMartin, Chuck Barney, Betty Fedorchak, Pam Davey, and Major Tom Barger. I also want to thank the Minot Area Community Foundation for providing a $1,000 prize that will go to the winner and will go to the nonprofit of the winner's choice. And now, let me just read a little bit about this nominee. He exemplifies the spirit of Minot's Good Neighbor Award through his consistent willingness to volunteer, provide dynamic leadership and dedication to community traditions, and a willingness to step forward whenever Minot needs someone to help make things happen. He is active in the following programs: the Downtown Business and Professional Association, Minot's 4th of July celebration, the Fjord Fest Scandinavian Festival, and the Minot Shrine Club. I believe he's the best candidate for this year's Minot Good Neighbor Award. He exemplifies everything a good neighbor would do in order to keep our community moving along. Through his involvement with multiple organizations and community efforts, he has helped build stronger connections between local groups, businesses, and volunteers, helping ensure that many of Minot's events and traditions continue to thrive. So it's with great pleasure that I present the Good Neighbor Award for 2026 to Corey Long.
I want to thank you, Christina, for the nomination. It truly means a lot. Thank you to Mayor Jantzer for the recognition, and to everyone that I had the privilege of working alongside with the Downtown DBA, Minot Shrine Club, my fellow Shriners, Minot Fireworks Association, helping out behind the scenes with the Fjords Fest coming. This is what community looks like: neighbors showing up, helping each other out, and leading with love. And I'm grateful for the small part of it. The recognition belongs just as much as belongs to all the others that had the recognition. And I want to thank you guys. And last but not least, I want to thank my beautiful 2 boys and my beautiful wife, that I come up with some crazy ideas and I have a little fun to help this community out a little bit. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, next on the agenda is refreshments. So there's cookies and coffee and water and things out in the atrium, so avail yourself of those. And at 20 minutes after 5, ahead of the city council meeting at 5:30, we are going to have a presentation of the city anthem, which was premiered by the Minot Symphony Orchestra and a whole bunch of choirs in Minot a couple of weeks ago. And so for those of you who weren't there for that event, this will be a video of it, and you'll get to hear and see the city anthem, which was the words were submitted in a contest to come up with a poem or verse for this, and then the music was composed by Emerson Eads, the former choral director at Minot State University. So come back at 20 after 5 and check out the anthem. Thank you very much.